Hello students, welcome to our online platform. Myself Engineer PP sir, your physics mentor. In today's lecture we are going to finalize our topic of elasticity. So today we will start with breaking of a wire. Breaking of a wire. So see, when the wire is loaded beyond the elastic limit, then strain increases much more rapidly. So we have seen stress strain curve in which we have seen that if strain is increased after a certain limit, then strain increases. If stress is increased up to a certain limit, then strain increases rapidly. It means the maximum stress corresponding to B, after which the wire begin to flow and breaks, is called breaking stress. So this is known as breaking stress or tensile strength, and the force by application of which the wire breaks is called breaking force. So simply what we can say that breaking stress is the maximum stress up to which it remains in elastic limits and after which it starts breaking. So this force is known as breaking force, and this stress is known as breaking stress. So see, breaking force depends upon the area of cross section of the wire. It means breaking force is directly proportional to area of cross section. So from here we can say, let us say that this is our rod on which a load F is applied and its area of cross section is A. Then this force F, which is known as breaking force. So this breaking force is equal to P into A, where P is pressure and A is area of cross section. So breaking stress is a constant for given material and it does not depends upon the dimension of wire. So simply what we can say that breaking stress is constant for a given material. If we talk about for any material, then its value is constant and it is independent of dimension, means length or thickness of the wire. If a wire of length L is cut into two or more parts, then again its each part can hold the same weight, since breaking force is independent of length of wire. So what we can say that if we have a wire of any length L and we have different pieces of this wire, and if we suspend similar amount of weight to the each wire, then they can exert the same amount of weight, they can hold the same amount of weight, because breaking stress is independent of length or width. Then see, if a wire can bear maximum force F, then wire of same material but double thickness can bear maximum 4F, because breaking force is proportional to pi r square. So we have seen that breaking force is in proportional to area and area of cross section is pi r square. So what we can say that if thickness is increased, if this thickness r is increased, if r is doubled, then this force will be 4 times. So we can conclude from here that breaking force depends on the thickness of the wire. So if thickness is doubled, it means that breaking force also becomes 4 times. Then from here we can say the working stress is always kept lower than that of a breaking stress. So working stress of any wire should be less than breaking stress, so that it can bear or it can tolerate a maximum force or maximum weight on it. So that safety factor can be given in form of breaking stress and working stress, or you can say breaking force and working force. So here safety factor, so we can say safety factor is equal to what is breaking stress with respect to working stress. Safety factor is simply a numeric value. It is dimensionless and unitless quantity. Breaking of wire under its own weight. So how a wire breaks due to its own weight? So breaking force is equal to breaking stress into area of cross section. I have seen this formula earlier. So breaking force is equal to P into A. Weight of wire. So if we talk about weight of wire, then weight of wire is mg, where m is its mass. if we calculate it in terms of volume, then volume is area into length. So from here you can see, let us say that this is our wire. This is our wire of area of cross section A and length L. Then its volume is A into L, and mass is volume into density. Volume into density. So we can say AL rho. Mass is equal to AL rho. So from here density is given as D. So you can see that AL dg is equal to P into A. So, or you can say that P is equal to L rho G, or you can say L dg. Here rho or D is taken as density of the wire. This is the length of wire if it breaks by its own weight. So this is the length is L. So L is equal to, you can see that L is equal to P upon rho G. So this is the length of wire if it breaks by its own weight. Now see how pattern of questions are asked. So see how questions are asked. So we are given a question, a wire of diameter 1 mm. A wire of diameter 1 mm breaks under a tension of 1000 Newton. So wire can act under a tension of 1000 Newton. Another wire of same material as that of first one, but of diameter 2 mm breaks under a tension of, so it means here we have to give a relation in tension and diameter. So we know that tension is directly proportional to area, or you can say that area of cross section is pi r square. So you can say from here that T1 upon T2 is equal to R1 upon R2 का whole square, or you can say diameter in terms of diameter. So D by 2, D1 upon 2 whole square upon D2 upon 2 whole square, or you can directly say D1 upon D2 whole square. So diameter of first wire is given as 1 mm, diameter of second wire is given as 2 mm. So you can see that it is 1 upon 2 whole square. So T2 is T1 by 4. T2 is 4 T1. T2 is 4 T1. So from here you can see that T2 is equal to 4 T1. It means tension in second wire becomes 4 times. So initial tension is 1000 Newton. So new tension is 4000 Newton. So this is the simple pattern of question. Now let us see one more question. Let us see this problem number 50. The wires A and B shown in the figure are made of same material and have radii RA and RB respectively. So you are given radius RA and RB respectively for these two wires. It is like this, that this is a rigid base and a block of mass M is suspended in this way, and this is the force F. So these are two wires. Let us say it is A and this is B. Its radius is RA and its radius is RB. It is given in the question. The block between them has a mass M. When the force F is equal to mg by 3, one of the wire breaks. In question we are given that if force is equal to mg upon 3, then one of the wire breaks. A and B में से कोई एक वायर होगा बच्चों यहाँ पर ब्रेक. So option is A will break before B if RA is equal to RB. A will break before B if RA is less than 2RB. So see, from here we can say that when force F is equal to mg upon 3 is applied at the lower end, then stress, what will be amount of stress in wire B? So see, this downward wire is B. So from here you can say that stress in B is equal to F upon area. Area is pi RB square. Its radius is RB. So it is pi RB square. Force is given as mg by 3. So it is mg upon 3 pi RB square. Similarly, stress in wire A. So stress in wire A is equal to, now see, if we calculate stress in wire A, then it is equal to F plus mg. This is net force upon pi R square A, or pi R A square. So for this first wire A, its force mg by 3 plus its weight mg. So its force F plus its weight mg. So you can say mg by 3 plus mg. So it is 4 by 3 mg in numerator, and in denominator it is pi R A square. So these are the values of stresses. Now see, we have to find that which one breaks. So these are stresses in wires A and B. Now see, our first option is A will break before B if RA is equal to RB. So see, if RA becomes equal to RB, then let us say this is SA, SB, stress and B, and it is stress and A. So here, if RA is equal to RB, then see, stress in B, so ratio of SB upon SA in this condition is equal to mg, numerator is same. Here 3 pi R square B, and here it is 3 pi R square A, so denominator is same. It means you can see that it is equal to 1 by 4. It is equal to 1 by 4, or you can say that SA is equal to 4 SB. It means stress in wire A is 4 times of stress in wire B. So our first option is A will break before B if RA is equal to RB. So stress in wire A is 4 times of stress in wire B. It means when RA will be equal to RB, then A will break first, or A will break before B. So first option is correct. Now verify second condition. A will break before B if RA is less than 2 RB. So if RA is less than 2 RB, then again you can place value in these two relations, and you can find out value of SA and SB. It means that will give you relation between SA and SB, and from which you can verify whether it will break or not. So similarly, you can verify all these 4 options from here. Basic is, if you draw FBD for these, then in case of wire B, simply force F is applied on it. So I have taken stress as force upon area. Area is RB square, pi RB square, and for above wire A, here force F plus its weight, both are applied. So we have taken this relation from here. Now see, so these are some pattern of questions based on it. Let us talk about our next topic, bulk modulus. Bulk modulus. So bulk modulus is defined again as ratio of normal stress upon volumetric strain. So bulk modulus, it is represented by K. It is normal strain upon volumetric stress. Volumetric strain. So this is denoted as bulk modulus. So from here we can see that when a solid or fluid is subjected to a uniform pressure all over the surface such that the same shape remains the same, there is no change in its shape, then there is a change in volume. So in that condition there is change in its volume. Let us say this constant pressure is applied from all over the surface, then there will not be any change in its shape, but volume will change. So in this condition, ratio of normal stress to the volumetric strain within the elastic limits is called as bulk modulus. If we talk about unit of this bulk modulus, then it is similar to stress, means Newton per meter square. Its unit is Newton per meter square. Now see, you can also write it in mathematical form. Normal stress is force upon area. Volumetric strain is minus del V upon V. Minus sign represents decrease in volume. or F upon A can be written as pressure. So you can see that it is equal to minus PV upon del V. Minus PV upon del V is known as bulk modulus, where P increase in pressure, V actual volume, and del V change in volume. The negative sign shows that increase in pressure P, the volume decreases by del V. It means pressure is positive and change in volume is negative. So I have told you earlier that negative sign shows that volume is decreasing, and volume is decreased due to increased pressure. So if volume is decreased, it means pressure is increased. That's why here it is written that P is positive and del V is negative. The reciprocal of bulk modulus is called compressibility. Reciprocal of bulk modulus is known as compressibility. It is represented by C. So it is equal to 1 upon K. It is equal to 1 upon K. It is known as compressibility. Its formula is now minus del V upon P into V. So it is the reciprocal of bulk modulus. Its SI unit is meter square upon Newton. Its SI unit is meter square upon Newton. So its dimension is also reciprocal to dimension of bulk modulus. So dimension of bulk modulus is m1 L minus 1 T minus 2. m1 L minus 1 T minus 2. So its reciprocal is m minus 1 L1 T2. So this is the dimension of compressibility. So here it is written, CGS unit is dyne per centimeter square, centimeter square upon dyne, and SI unit is meter square upon Newton. Gases have two bulk moduli, namely isothermal elasticity and adiabatic elasticity. So from here we can say that there are two types of bulk modulus in case of gases, which is isothermal elasticity and adiabatic elasticity. So isothermal elasticity, let us talk about isothermal and adiabatic separately. Questions are asked generally from this topic. We will also study this topic in thermal expansion. So isothermal elasticity. Elasticity possessed by a gas in isothermal condition is defined as isothermal elasticity. So what do we mean by isothermal? Isothermal means temperature is constant. Temperature is constant. So if temperature is constant for ideal gas, you have seen that PV is equal to nRT, and number of moles are gas constant. So in case of isothermal, is temperature is also constant. It means all these three values are constant. Hence we can say that PV is equal to constant. PV is equal to constant. Now if we differentiate in both sides, so see, this isothermal is Boyle's law. It is Boyle's law. PV is equal to constant. So we will study in detail in thermodynamics. PV is equal to constant. If I differentiate this relation, then it becomes PdV plus VdP is equal to 0. PdV plus VdP is equal to 0. Or you can see from here that minus dV upon V is equal to dP upon P. Minus dV upon V is equal to dP upon P. So you can clearly see PdV is equal to minus VdP. So this is the relation acquired from isothermal elasticity. Now see, P is equal to dP upon minus dV upon V. I can rewrite this relation in this form. P is equal to dP upon minus dV upon V. So this dP is stress and dV upon V is strain. So it is equal to thermal elasticity. Thermal elasticity, stress upon strain. So from here we can find this relation that E theta is equal to P, or you can say dP upon minus dV upon V. Clear? So this is the general relation. E theta is equal to P. Means isothermal elasticity is equal to pressure. Then adiabatic elasticity. So in case of adiabatic elasticity, we talk about Poisson's law. Poisson's law. And in an adiabatic process, P into V to the power gamma is always equal to constant. So from here we can also establish a relation, again differentiate in both sides. Then if we take V to the power gamma as common, then it is dP, plus if we take P as common and differentiate V to the power gamma, then it is gamma P V to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to 0. Or you can say that V to the power gamma dP is equal to gamma P V to the power gamma upon V. So from here V to the power gamma is cancelled out in both sides, or we can see from here into dV, or we can say that or dP upon minus dV upon V is equal to gamma P. So this is the relation. So again dP is stress and minus dV upon V is strain, which is equal to gamma P. It means adiabatic elasticity E phi is equal to gamma P, Here gamma is a constant, and you have seen this value in thermodynamics. Gamma is equal to Cp upon Cv. Specific heat at constant pressure divided by specific heat at constant volume. Thus adiabatic elasticity is equal to gamma times of pressure. Now see, an important relation, ratio of adiabatic to isothermal elasticity. It means if you are asked relation in E phi and E theta, so E phi upon E theta is equal to gamma, and which is always greater than 1. So value of gamma is always greater than 1. It means we can say that isothermal elasticity is always less than adiabatic elasticity. Adiabatic elasticity is always greater than isothermal, or you can say isothermal is always smaller than adiabatic. Now see, density of compressed liquid. So how density is calculated for a compressed liquid? If a liquid of density rho, volume V and bulk modulus K is compressed, then its density increases. So if a liquid of any density and volume is compressed, then its density increases. So we know this relation that K is equal to minus del P upon del V upon V. Clear? Or you can clearly say from here that minus del V upon V is equal to del P upon K. So see, if we establish a relation, this is relation in volume and pressure, and if we establish relation in volume and density, then we know the relation rho is equal to m upon V. Density is equal to mass upon volume. Here we are considering mass as constant, so we can say that del rho upon rho is equal to minus of del V upon V. So using these two equations, we can see that minus del V upon V is equal to del P upon K, and minus del V upon V is equal to del rho upon rho. So we can say that del rho upon rho is equal to del P upon K. So this is the concept which can be given from here. From here you can also say that del rho is equal to rho into del P upon K. Clear? Or 1 upon K can be written as in form of compressibility. So it is rho into C into del P. Now you can say from here that if a liquid of density rho, volume V and bulk modulus K is compressed, then its density increases. So it can be seen by this relation. Now our next topic is fractional change in radius of sphere. fractional change in radius of the sphere. So see, a solid sphere of radius capital R made of material of bulk modulus K is surrounded by a liquid in cylindrical container. So what we are having a solid sphere which is placed in this cylindrical container. A massless piston of area A floats on the surface of the liquid. So this is a piston which is placed over here. This is the sphere and this is the cylindrical container, and here a liquid is filled. So this is the condition we are given. If we talk about volume of this sphere, so volume of this sphere, if its radius is capital R, then its volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. 4 by 3 pi r cube. So its volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Now see, if we find change in both sides, then here volume simply depends on radius. So we can see that del V upon V is equal to 3 into del R upon R. Del V upon V is equal to 3 into del R upon R, or you can say that del R upon R, we are going to find change in radius. So del R upon R is equal to 1 upon 3 del V upon V. 1 upon 3 del V upon V. And we know the relation for del V upon V in terms of bulk modulus. So our bulk modulus is K is equal to minus dP upon dV upon V. Minus dP upon dV upon V. So you can see that dV upon V is equal to minus dP upon K. It means del R upon R is equal to minus dP upon 3K. So this is fractional change in radius. Fractional change in radius. Clear? If we find change in pressure, so if area is given as A and applied force is equal to its weight mg, then you can say that it is equal to mg upon 3AK, where A is area of cross section, K is bulk modulus, and mg is weight. Now see a pattern of question. When a pressure of 1000 atmosphere is applied on a spherical ball of a rubber, then its volume reduces to 0.01%. The bulk modulus of material of rubber in dyne per centimeter square is, so you have to calculate bulk modulus here. We are given pressure, so pressure is 100 atm. 100 atm. 1 atm is equal to almost equal to 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. So convert it into 100 into 10 to the power 5, or you can say 10 to the power 7 Newton per meter square is pressure. A spherical ball of rubber, then its volume reduces to 0.01%. It means we are given del V upon V minus del V upon V into 100 is equal to 0.01. Clear? Or minus del V upon V is equal to 0.01 into 10 to the power minus 2, or divided by 100. So this is the fractional change in volume. This is the fractional change in volume. We have to find bulk modulus. So we know the relation that minus del V upon V, we are given here change in volume. So minus del V upon V is, this is the relation. Del V upon V is 3 into del R upon R, and del R is mg upon AK, or you can say P upon K. P upon K. So we can say minus del V upon V is equal to 3 into del R upon R, or we can say is equal to dP upon K. So pressure is 10 to the power 7, and K we have to calculate. dV upon V is known to us. So from here we can say that K is equal to pressure is 10 to the power 7 divided by change in volume. So change in volume, you can see from here 0.01 into 10 to the power minus 2, it means it is 10 to the power minus 4. So 10 to the power 7 into 10 to the power divided by 10 to the power minus 4. In numerator it is 10 to the power 11. So compressibility factor is 10 to the power 11. 10 to the power 11 Newton per meter square. Newton per meter square. But our answer is given in dyne per centimeter square. So convert here Newton into dyne and meter into centimeter. So 10 to the power 11 Newton per meter square. Convert करो बच्चों Newton. So 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. So it is 10 to the power 11 into 10 to the power 5 dyne and सेंटीमीटर में कन्वर्ट करना है. डिनोमिनेटर में है बच्चों मीटर स्क्वायर, इसको हमने सेंटीमीटर में कन्वर्ट किया तो 1 मीटर इज इक्वल टू 100 सेंटीमीटर एंड इट्स स्क्वायर इज 10 टू द पावर 4. सो 10 टू द पावर 4 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर. So it is 10 to the power 12. So 10 to the power 12. Option C is correct. 1 into 10 to the power 12. Dyne per centimeter square. So these are different pattern of questions. Now see, our next topic is modulus of rigidity. Modulus of rigidity. So modulus of rigidity, it gives us a relation in shearing stress and shearing strain. Shearing stress and shearing strain. It means whenever a tangential force applied on an object, then it causes shearing stress and shearing strain, and their ratio, rigidity eta is equal to shearing stress upon shearing strain. So if we talk about value of shearing stress, then shearing stress is given as force upon area. Shearing strain is given as phi or tan phi we have seen. So we can say that modulus of rigidity is F upon A phi. F upon A phi. If we talk about this value of phi, then let us say that it is displaced by amount x and there is no change in its length, then phi is equal to x upon L. Phi is equal to x upon L. So modulus of rigidity is equal to F upon Ax and into L in numerator. So Fl upon Ax. So this is the concept of modulus of rigidity. In this case, the shape of body changes, but its volume remains unchanged. So in case of rigidity, we can clearly see from here that its shape will change, but volume will remain unchanged. So I have seen, I have explained this mathematical form from here. Now see, if we talk about modulus of rigidity, then it can have only solids can exhibit as shearing as these have definite shapes. So बच्चों rigidity कौन से object show करेंगे जिनकी definite shape हो, and only solids have definite shapes. Poisson's ratio. So if we talk about Poisson's ratio, then let us say that here this is a wire of a certain length L and its radius is small r. Now a force F is applied and there is change in its length dl. So if its length increases, then similarly we can say that its radius decreases. So new radius is r minus dr and new length is l plus dl. So length increasing, it means increased by dl factor. So new length is L plus dl and its radius is decreased. Let us say it is decreased by dr. So new radius is r minus dr. So from here we explain Poisson's ratio, which is denoted by sigma. So it is lateral strain with respect to longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain. Clear? So longitudinal strain is initial length is dl, initial length is L and change is dl. Similarly, lateral strain is change in its radius. So we can see from here that lateral strain is minus dr upon r minus sign represents decrease in radius divided by lateral strain. Lateral strain is change in length with respect to actual length. So lateral means change in width, longitudinal means change in length. So it is minus dr upon r upon dl upon l. So this is the concept of longitudinal strain and lateral strain in terms of Poisson's ratio. Negative sign क्या indicate कर रहा है? Radius of bar decreases. So I have explained it that negative sign shows that radius is decreasing. Let us see from here what is the relation between volumetric strain, lateral strain and Poisson's ratio. So what is the relation between these two quantities? So if we talk about its volume, then we know that volume is pi r square. This is the area into length L. This is volume of the wire or volume of that rod. Differentiate in both sides, then you can see that it is dV is equal to, here radius and length both are variable. So first keep pi r square as constant and change in length. So it is pi r square dl plus, now pi into L constant and r square is variable. So it is 2 pi r L dr. So this is the differentiation of this value, and from here we can see divide both sides by volume. So dV upon V, let us divide here by pi r square L. Volume is pi r square by L, and here again pi r square by L. So see, from this relation pi r square cancel from here, pi and this r is cancel out, L is cancel out. So dV upon V is equal to dl upon L plus 2 into dr upon r. This is the relation in terms of change in volume. Now see, we have to establish a relation in volumetric strain, lateral strain and Poisson's ratio. So see, volumetric strain, so dV upon V is volumetric strain, dl upon L is longitudinal strain, and dr upon r is lateral strain. So this is the relation between them, and you can also say dV upon V is equal to 1 plus 2 sigma into dl upon L. dV upon V is equal to 1 plus 2 sigma into dl upon L. Now see, if a material having sigma is equal to minus 0.5, then dV upon V, so place here sigma is equal to minus 0.5, then it is equal to 0. So if sigma is equal to minus 0.5, then we can say that volumetric strain is 0. Volumetric strain is 0 because it is 1 plus 2 sigma. 1 plus 2 sigma. Sigma is minus 0.5, so 1 minus 1, 0. If a material having sigma is equal to 0, so if we place here sigma is equal to 0, then volumetric strain is equal to longitudinal strain. Then lateral strain becomes 0. So lateral strain becomes 0, it means there is no change in its radius. There is no change in its radius with respect to actual radius. It means change in volume now will depend on change in length. It means you can see that volumetric strain is equal to longitudinal strain. So when a substance is stressed, its length increases without any decrease in diameter. Example, cork. In this case, change in volume is maximum. So in this case, dV upon V is equal to dl upon L. Now see, if we talk about theoretical value and practical value, then theoretical value of Poisson's ratio is minus 1 to 0.5. Minus 1 to 0.5. This is its theoretical value. And if we talk about its practical value, then practical value is from 0 to 0.5. 0 to 0.5. So this is the relation. Now last topic of elasticity, relation between y means Young's modulus, k means bulk modulus, eta means rigidity, and sigma means Poisson's ratio. So what is the relation in all these four quantities? So you can simply keep these two relations. One is y is equal to 3k into 1 minus 2 sigma. So this is the relation in Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and Poisson's ratio. If you use this relation in terms of rigidity, then it is y is equal to 2 eta into 1 plus sigma. So these two relations you have to keep in mind for numerical purpose. Now let us say we are given a question. Minimum and maximum values of Poisson's ratio for a metal lies between minus infinity to plus infinity 9, 0 to 1, minus infinity to 1, 0 to 0.5. So we have seen now. So our first option is correct. Second one is, for a given material, Young's modulus is given to us. Young's modulus is 2.4 times that of rigidity modulus. Its Poisson's ratio is, we have to find Poisson's ratio. So Young's modulus is 2.4 times that of rigidity modulus. It means y is equal to 4 eta. And Poisson's ratio we have to calculate. So we will use the relation in which y, eta and sigma is used. It means this relation will be used. So y is equal to 4 eta. So it is 4 eta and it is 2 eta. So 2 times, so 2 is equal to 1 plus sigma, or sigma is equal to 1. 2.4 times. So 2.4 times, it means 1.2 and it is 0.2. So value of sigma is 0.2. So option D is correct. So that's it from today's lecture. We have completed this topic of elasticity. In next lecture, we will start with our new topic, fluid mechanics, which is also an important topic. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching today's video. Let us meet in our next video. Thank you.